focus on biological things. IBS is a federation of regions, so we have more than 38 regions with more than 8 countries. We cover all the continents. So usually we have a regional conference. We have our own journals. The first that I saw, biometrics. We also have a biometrical journal for the Austro, Swiss, and German regions. We have the biostatistics and epidemiology for China region, and also Brazilian Journal of Biometrics in Brazil region. In this moment, this journal are in the Federal University of Lavras in Minas Gerais. We have two most recent regions, that is Namibia from Africa and Croatia from Europe. Also, we have a lot of collaboration with other networks. So we try to bring a lot of young people, I think that met this meeting now, for 5 regions. So we have a General Network for British, Irish, and French, Belgian, Netherlands. Susan for Sub-Saharan Africa Network, Central European Network for Swiss, German, and Polish. Also the East Asian Network, which includes China, India, Japan, South Korea, important. Probably we have something next year there. Pakistan, Singapore, and also the Hispanic International Network of the IBS that cover Argentina, Central America, Caribbean, Chile, Equatorial, and also Spanish. We have more than 5,000 members. The major parts is a regular member, and it's after your PhD, so you become a graduate, a regular member, a professional. But we have also a lot of students and also retired people. So there are retired researchers that also keep in touch with IBS. The principal idea is collaboration, integration, and a lot of networking. We have a lot of grants, scholarships, and other things to try to bring and lead people to the conference and other kinds of things. Biennial, we have an international biometric conference. The 2 last ones was in 2022 in Riga, Latvia, and the last one was in Atlanta in 2024. The next one will be in South Korea. It's a very beautiful place there. It will be in July 2026. So I invite everyone of each areas. We are a multidisciplinary organization, so each one is very welcome. So this is the Brazilian region. The Brazilian region is called RBRAS. What is RBRAS? So we are a non-profit scientific society. Our focus is statistics, applied to biological, agriculture, environmental, and health science, the major parts. We are part of IBS, like I say, connecting Brazilian researchers to all the international community. A funny fact, RBRAS was founded in 1955 here in Campinas. Unicamp didn't exist at that time, just Campinas, and probably with someone of biological or agriculture things. So this is our 70th anniversary, and a good thing, the next year our meeting will be here in Campinas also, in this place. So it was founded during the 15th International Biometric Conference. The founding document was signed by 25 researchers, including 15 Brazilians and 10 foreigners. And for us, we are very proud that Fisher, Cochrane, and Rao signed this first document of our society. We are one of the oldest society in scientific way from Brazil. Our current structure and board, I am the president from State University of Maringá. Also, Vanderlei Janeiro is from State University of Maringá. The first secretary, Agatha, is from Federal University of Espírito Santo, is southwest of Brazil. Renata is from Exalc. Exalc is part of the University of São Paulo. Lia, your first treasurer, is from Federal University of Mato Grosso. And also Anderson Ara, our second treasurer, to the Federal University of Paraná. we try to get this, in this board our regions of Brazil and a division by gender too. So a great representative board to try to fix all the cover all our country. So in Brazil, we have more than 1,500 members. We have an annual meeting since 1955. We have a partnership with SEAGRO, that's a symposium of applied statistics in agriculture experimental. So we have a strong relationship with biologicals and agriculture things. The next event will be the 70th RBRAS here in Campinas in 2026, probably in November. I also have a meeting at lunch to discuss this thing. So to get involved, we have the Biomedical Society site, the RBRAS site. It's very easy to join a member. Usually you become a member via your IBS region, by your IBS region. And it's very, how can I say, for students, for example, we have a lot of young people here. It's very cheap from our money is 25 reais to become young researchers. It's very cheap and you have a lot of discounts in many of the IBS over the world organization and conference. So it's very cheap. And also for researchers in Brazil, it's a very good price. I think in this moment it's 165 to become a member. So I would like to thank you for your attention. This is my contact, Diogo Rossoni. This is my 2 email. If you want to follow me in social network, I share a lot of things in social network. I think that's the best way in this moment to share this thing. And I would like to thank you to Jacqueline for this invitation. It's first time that SBM and RBRAS come together in a huge event. So I think that's a great partnership, a beginning of a great and profit partnership. So thank you so much and have a nice day.
Please, Diogo, start the table. And very nice to know that Fisher was just around the corner before this campus even exists. And even more interesting to know that Elsa Berko was one of the founders. Also, great. So now let's move to the next society. So please, Gustavo Arthur de Andrade, the president of Sociedade Brasileira de Automática, will tell about both things, himself and the society. Please, Gustavo.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gustavo Arthur de Andrade. I am the current president of Brazilian Society of Automatics and professor at Federal University of Santa Catarina in Florianópolis. And I will present the activities and perspectives of the Brazilian Society of Automatics, SPA. Okay, see, this is our agenda. I will start by a short description of our society, our structure, the governance, the technical and institutional committees, publications, our journal, and the events, awards, the international relations, and our actions for promoting diversity and inclusion in our society. Okay, so the Brazilian Society of Automatics was founded in '75 by Castrucci and Bottura, and they had this envision to promote in Brazil the science and the engineering of automation and control in all types of systems, mechanical, biological, economical, and social. And our society has become the leading forum for Brazilian researchers, students, and professionals in the area of control and automation, with over 1,000 active members. Our SBA is headquartered in Campinas, São Paulo, at School of Electrical and Computer Engineering here in Unicamp. It's a non-profit scientific association, and our sources of support are the membership fees, scientific events, and publications. So our governing body is similar to all kind of societies, national and international. So we have this our General Assembly, which makes the supreme decision, and it's open to all members in a good standing. We have the Executive Board, which is elected every 2 years, and the roles are typically President, Vice President, Secretary, Communication Secretary, Institutional Relations Secretary, and Treasurers. And the Superior Council, which is advisory and deliberating stance for long-term strategies. Regarding the technical committees, we have a multidisciplinary one. So the committees stand for automation, control theory, electronic instrumentation, robotics, power electronics, power system, intelligent systems, system identification and data science, engineering education, complex systems. So as you can see, the technical committee has a space for applied mathematicians, physicists, engineering. And also we have the institutional committees, for instance, the industry committee, which bridge the academia and industry, youth and women in automation, that empower young researchers and women. Regarding our journal, the Journal of Control, Automation and Electrical System, which was created in 2013. It continues the legacy of our previous journal, Controle e Automação. And our journal have an impact factor of 1.4 since the first year, so it's a very stable journal for publications. Also, we have SBA Press, which is the publishing arm of the Brazilian Society of Automatics, for technical and educational books on control, automation, and robotics. It's a peer review press, and most of the books are published in Portuguese or English to maximize national impact and global reach. The events, we have key national and regional events. The major event is the Brazilian Automatics Conference, CBA, or Conferência Brasileira de Automática, which is biennial and have over 1,000 attendees. We have also the Brazilian Symposium of Intelligent Automation, SBAI, also biennial with over 500 attendees, and the Brazilian Symposium of Electrical System, also biennial, over 300 attendees. So in general, SBA happens during the even years, and SBAI and SBSE in the odd years. Generally, SBAI and SBSE are in the same place. Also for financial assistance to increase the participation of early careers researchers in the events, we partially cover the registration, travel, and lodging for students and early career researchers. Regarding the awards, to celebrate the excellence and the services of our members, we have Boturan Castrucci plenary session to recognize contribution to science, education, control, and automation systems engineering by SBA senior associate researchers working in Brazil. We have also the Young Researcher Plenary to recognize outstanding achievements in research in the field of control and automation systems by young researchers working in Brazil also. Theory and Applications in Automatic Control Award to recognize outstanding contributions to the engineering, science, or technology of control and automation systems, or significant technical contributions and exceptional long-term services to SBI. Journal of Control, Automation, and Electrical Systems Award to recognize outstanding papers published in our journal. Also, Best doctoral thesis in automatic control, and best SBA student papers in all of our events in the categories of undergraduate, master, and doctorate. Okay, we are also a member of the International Federation of Automatic Control. This allowed us to organize several international events in Brazil during the years, as can be seen here. And also IFAC is funding us to promote regional diversity in control and automation in Brazil. So we have this project to give a series of seminars in regions of Brazil that have developing graduate programs. So for example, this year and the next year we are giving seminars in the northwest of Brazil, in the north, center-west, and the last one, which will be in the next year here in Campinas, in our event, CBA 2026. Also, we have a special session on diversity and inclusion at the Conference on Decision and Control, which is IEEE Control System Society Conference. So SBA is funding students with low income to go to the event to get contact with outstanding researchers. And okay, thank you for your attention. This is our website, and this is our contact. Feel free to send questions and check the website for the calls and other informations about membership in our society.
Thank you very much, Gustavo. Please join us in the table. And let me call now our multi-president and multi-organizer and multi-everything. Please, Jaqueline Mesquita, the president of the Brazilian Society of Mathematics, Sociedade Brasileira de Matemática.
Thank you very much, Marcelo, for the introduction. Okay, I will talk a little about the Brazilian Math Society, about some activities that we are doing. So first, I will introduce you for our team. So we have this board of the directors. I am as the president. The term of the directors, it's like 2 years. So we just started now in August, so we will stay until 2027. And okay, I'm currently the president, and also here are our team. So Daniel Pellegrino is the vice president. Also Valéria Cavalcante, the director. Lorenzo Dias, Redilene Oliveira, Leandro Bezerra. Also we have a council of directors. And all the board of the directors, all the members are also here. And also we have others that are elected by our community. And here, for example, Carlili is also in both societies, the Applied, that he will talk today, and also here the Brazilian Math Society. So, and we have many others, for example, Nancy Garcia, that's also here at Unicamp. And also Gabriela Planas, also professor here, is in our council of directors. Also, since Brazil is very big and we try a lot many actions, we have some regional secretaries in the Brazilian Math Society. So in the north, it's in Portuguese, but in the north region, we have João Rodrigues as our secretary. In the northeast of Brazil, Damião Araújo. Minas Gerais and Center-East, Luciana Aparecida Elias. In Rio de Janeiro and Espírito Santo, here only 2 cities, but we have a lot of density of members, so that's why we divide in that regions. Depends on the density of our members. So here we have this region of Rio de Janeiro and Espírito Santo, that's Juliana Fernandes. And in São Paulo, that's the biggest city that we have, the biggest density of our members. We have Paulo da Torre from USP, and in the south of Brazil, we have Márcio Adames. Also, we have a financial council that takes care about all the financial things of the society. So here it's composed by these 3 people. And also we have a big team to help us with all the activities of the society. So they are the employees of the society. Probably you already know Flora, that's our manager, and also George, they are here in the stand of the Brazilian Math Society, but also we have all this other team here. And okay, I will try to talk a little about some activities that we are involved. So we are very involved with the Olympics in mathematics, and we participated in many like Olympics weeks, also training of students, and we give a lot of support for the Olympics in Brazil. So we give the support for the biggest one that is organized by IMPA, that's the Brazilian Olympics in Mathematics for public schools. Also, we have this one that selects for the international ones, that's the Brazilian Olympics in Mathematics. And also we give a lot of support, always we participate on their activities. And this one, that's new Olympics that's only for women, for girls. And it started in 2019, and this one we are more involved, we are helping more, and we are like helping with many activities. Also, we are organizing this year, for the first time, the Pan-Americana Olympics in Mathematics for Girls. That's the PAGMO, that will happen for the first time in Brazil. And in the last year, these Olympics happened in Mexico. Here's the president of Mexican Mathematical Society. And the Brazilian girls were the first place. So we are very proud about that. We hope that this year our team will again do a show in the Olympics. And we got a very great funding from CNPq to organize these Olympics. Also, now we are involved in a new Olympics that's for teachers in mathematics in Brazil. So we take the teachers in basic schools and we do there are 3 phases of these exams. And the ones that receive like golden medals, they go to China and they do some immersion in China in the schools, in the basic schools in China. Because China, we have international exams for the level of basic schools, that's called PISA. And they are in the first place in these exams. And we bring our professors to there, the teachers that wins the first place here, and they go with this training and to understand what they are doing there, and they come back to Brazil and they give you several workshops around the country. Also, we are the biggest publisher of books in mathematics in Portuguese language. So here we have several collections of books. So we have, you can check in our stand there. So we have many books for teachers in high school, also for the students, the undergraduate students, graduate students, Olympics, so all those things. And so many, also about applied math, frontiers of the knowledge, so many things in that direction. Also, we have many journals. And we have some journals, including with our partners, that's Springer, that will talk after this table. So we have all those journals here. One of these is our newsletter that we send every month for our members. And also we have this other one that's a journal that's more for the undergraduates, like the undergraduate students can read. There are more easier papers, let's say, but that brings a little more of content. Also, we have this other one that's for teachers in basic school. So this is Professor de Matemática Online, like teachers in mathematics online. Also, we have this other one that's for Olympics, so also brings a lot of exercise and things that challenges in Olympics. Also, we have this other one here that's also for teachers, and we got a lot of money from one of deputy like Tabata Amaral to spread to give this journal to all the public schools in the state of São Paulo. Also, we have the bulletin that's with Springer. This is more like articles, and it's a very high level now journal. And also we have Matemática Contemporânea that very recently also now is a journal of Springer, and that this one is for conference. So we also publish like proceedings of conferences in that one. And also we have this other one that's for big papers that's called Insights. Also, we have a cooperation of our books with Springer. So now we are doing translations of our books in Portuguese to English, and then we publish like together, like the Brazilian Web Society and Springer. So we started with this collection. Also, we have several online courses for the people, and also we try to do several lives because we know that it's difficult to people always coming to conferences and so on. So we try to reach the most people that we can. So we have several lives to discuss about math and some online courses. Also, we have several conferences. I will not list all of them, but we have our biggest one is the Bienal of Mathematics, that happens every 2 years. But also we have the colloquiums that happens in each region from Brazil. And also we have other conferences like for the initiation for the undergraduate students. We have several, like also international conferences like Brazil-China, that Carlili, that's here, is our chair of this conference. Also, we are planning the BRICS conference in mathematics, and also Brazil-Italy. So we have many international conferences together with other societies. Also, very recently, we had the Brazil-Mexican Mathematical Joint Meeting. Here is the president of the Mexican Mathematical Society, and also we signed an agreement between both societies. Also, we coordinate in national level a biggest professional master for teachers in mathematics, for teachers in basic schools. So this program is in 105 cities in Brazil. So we try to reach, it's the biggest one in the country. And we have more, now it's not updated, it's more than 8,000 people that were formed by this master program. And also we have several prizes. We have the Brazilian Mathematical Society Prize, that's for young researchers that publish very high-level papers. Also, we have this one that's together with our sister society, the Applied and Computational Mathematical Brazilian Society, that gives this prize for the best book published in Portuguese in Brazil. Yeah, that in many areas, like also in many areas of mathematics. Also, I would like to mention that Carlili was, I think, the head as the jury of this prize last time. Also, we have here this other one that's together with USP, that's Carlos Gutierrez, that is the prize to recognize the best PhD thesis defended in Brazil. Also, we have the prize of our master, that's one for each region. So the best dissertation defended by the teachers. Also, we have the prize of bulletin together with here Springer for the best article published. And this one that's more recently, that's the prize for the undergraduate students that have the best works in research. Also, we created a prize for women in math. We know that we have this underrepresented in mathematics. So this was one initiative together with INPA and the Ministry of Science and Technology in Brazil. And the name of the prize is Elas na Matemática. So it's to recognize 3 categories of women. One, seniors, established women. The other, young women. And the other one is for women that encourage other women. It's like for the extension projects. So we have that. Also, I'd like to say that we are trying to do a lot of things in that direction about women in mathematics. So we have a mentoring program together with the Physics Brazilian Society and the Chemistry Brazilian Society is a joint program of mentoring. Also, there are many benefits, and we have several agreements of the Brazilian Math Society. We have some institutional associations, and these are some. And also, it's possible that some schools are associated to the Brazilian Math Society. So here is our social medias, and you can follow the Brazilian Math Society, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Jacqueline. Please join us in the table. And as she already almost introduced it, now we'll have Carlyle Lavor, that also plays many different roles, but in this case, he's here representing Sociedade Brasileira de Matemática Aplicada e Computacional. Please, Carlyle.
Thank you, Marcelo. Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Carlyle Lavor. I'm professor here. I'm from the Department of Applied Mathematics. Marcelo is the head of the department, so he's my boss. And I'm representing here the Brazilian Applied Math Society. First of all, I apologize for the slides. They are in Portuguese, but there is a reason. So, Jacqueline just told me yesterday night, Carlyle, you'll be on the round table. Since she is also my boss, I just say, okay, yes, so sorry for that. So, and the Brazilian Applied Math Society, SBMAC, is a young sister of SBM. So the structure is more or less the same. So I will try just to emphasize some differences. Okay. So I think it's important to also to mention that I'm a member of the Scientific Council of the SBMAC, and in 2018 and 2019 I was the president of the society. So this is just an important information here is that the SBMAC was founded in 1978, so SBMAC is 10 years younger than SBM. And as I mentioned, I will try to emphasize just some difference between SBMAC and SBM. So this is the board of the society. So Carlos Hoppen from the Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul is the president. Sandra Malta, vice president. Leandro, what is Leandro? Leandro was in the cocktail, and since he didn't obey the boss, he continued the cocktail.
Last time he was in the cocktail, but then no one knew.
So I'm sorry. So Leandro, Fernanda Bastiani from the northeast of Brazil. We also have Soledad, that she will be the next president, starting in January of the next year. Marilene from Unesp, also in São Paulo, and Graziele also in São Paulo. And here is the Scientific Council. João Frederico Costa Silva is also a professor here, one of the founder of the society. José Cominato from USP, José Mario Martinez, also professor here, emeritus professor at Unicamp, also one of the founders of the society. Paulo Fernando, Evelise, and this is the also part of the Scientific Council. Kelly, also professor here from the Applied Math Department. Pablo, one of the ex-president. So this wonderful, from me? Handsome, okay, thank you very much. This handsome guy. Geraldo Nunes, also from São Paulo, and Claudia, also from São Paulo. So, as I mentioned, we have some similarities. This is the way that we distribute the regions of the society. So, this is a thematic session. Let's see. Okay, now about publication, we have also some publications, and the most important one is the Computational Applied Mathematics, also from Springer. Where is our Springer? Okay, he's there. And also other journals, and this is also important. This is a Springer Brief. Springer Briefs. This is like a short books. And which more? So in September we organize. I think is the the biggest conference in applied math in Latin America, the CENIMAC, and this year was in Rio de Janeiro, and the next year will be in São Paulo. So we have this is a very nice part of the CENIMAC that was created by Marcelo when we organized in 2018 the conference here. CENIMAC, how to translate this? Marcelo, since he's the creator, you can explain what is this CENIMAC?
CENIMAC for kids.
CENIMAC for kids, okay, very good. CENIMAC for kids, yeah. It was a very good invention that other societies also knows. Oh, this is a good idea. Okay, so we have also some prize. Maybe the most important prize that I mentioned here is the Johannes Kepler Prize. What is this prize? This prize is for papers. And it's necessary that at least one of the author works in mathematics or applied math or physics, and the other one is necessary to work in the other area of the knowledge. For example, economics, sociology. So it's necessary to have authors that work in different areas. So in some sense, the objective of this prize is to stimulate, to promote the integration between scientists that work in different subjects. So, okay, this is our context. But in order to finalize, I'd like to mention two things. And I need the blackboard. A luz? Como é que apaga aqui? A luz? Ah, a luz, ok. Here? No? No? O projetor. Esse? E qual? Tá. Okay, good. So, I think that we have big problems. So, in order to try to solve problems from the society, suppose that here is our society, yeah? And here are the scientists. So let's suppose that here, so I consider just the basic subjects of science. So let's suppose that here are the scientists that work in physics, here in chemistry, and here, not so big, chemistry, and this is biology. And in the center, mathematics. So first of all, this saying that mathematics can be a language that can facilitate the communication between scientists that work in different areas. So one big problem, we have to improve the way that we communicate with the society. We know that a great part of the society don't understand what is science. And the problem is that this quantity is increasing. So this is a big problem for us, for all of the societies, yeah? One big problem. The other one that I think that can try to solve this first problem is that we have to improve the way that we communicate. There are big problems here, mainly in this century, that are in the frontiers. A lot of problems. And in order to solve these problems, we have to talk more, much more. And I will try to exemplify this. Here in our institute with 100 people, we have 3 departments: math, applied math, and statistics. In the same building, very nice building, the most beautiful building in our university, and we talk but just a little bit. Yeah, in one institute. Imagine in one university, the idea is to put universities to be closer, yeah? But we don't talk to almost nothing with the Institute of Physics, Institute of Chemistry, Institute of Biology, almost nothing. Yeah? And imagine scientists of physics, physicists, chemists, biologists, and mathematicians. So I think that these are 2 big problems that our societies together we have to at least to understand that we have this problem. Yeah. So for this I finish here. Thank you very much.
Billy joined the table, and since he gave the provocation, Now it's your turn. What would you like to provoke those four or you? Since many of you are also representatives from societies and each of you is a scientist and you are a scientist and have all the duties to solve the big problem that Carlili just showed to us. So please. Introduce yourself first.
Okay, sorry. Vanderlan Bolzani. Vanderlan is name of a man in Palmeiras. This my name is from origin Dutch name. It's not a name for men, it's name for women. Okay, this congratulations for this, very important, and I like a lot about this discussion. This is a problem in our science, communication, and we are responsible because I think we don't create a culture in some areas that is hard science. This is a problem. In 2011, we organized Advanced School in FAPESP. And because it was the International Year of Chemistry, we invite several Nobels, and we create with FAPESP every month a conference with the top, with the basic schools, with boys and girls. Was a very, very, very nice schools and big success. One of them at the time, last year, sent a message to me because he became a professor in Brasilia, all from public school. So it's very important how we can manage. But my discussion for you is about boys that you talk about today. I would like to know what you can do for girls, because you have a culture that boys can be mathematics, can have good brain to stimulate and to work with math. It's not this question with the girls. I have worked a lot about girls and women in science by the SBPC. We create a prize. You need to see how your societies can do something to create that girls and boys can be very good in maths and all hard science. So, sorry for this. So
First, I have a question. Do you think it's a good idea to turn on the air conditioner or not?
If you want, just turn, but let me collect other one or two comments and then introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Andrea Paula Lima from the University of Chile. And I would like to congratulate you, Jacqueline, because I was amazed that you are translating books from Portuguese to English. We used to do the other translation, right, from English to Portuguese, and I think it's fantastic. And the second thing is about this discussion. I am now working with physics and engineering, and we spent 2 years to understand each other. But now we can talk and we can understand what we want, even with small reunions, meetings of 30 minutes, and it's very efficient. So I would say that we have to spend time to understand each other. This is my comment.
Thank you very much. No other hand raised, so please let us start. Yes.
Thank you so much for all the both questions. I think that something that concerns everyone here. The first one is the communication between the areas. I think that here in Brazil, especially, I think we don't want to leave our square. Each one would like to stay in the square. So this is the first thing. It's hard to cross this border. I think that this is the first one. But now in Brazil, the government and the supporting foundation are trying to put some calls that it's necessary to use multidisciplinary things. So you need to bring something with other areas. This is, I think, the first step to win this thing. The second one, it's the communication with the society. I think that is the hard one. Because in the hard science, if you don't publish a paper, sometimes you think that you don't do nothing. It's hard to change this mind, that you publish some paper to solve problems, but sometimes we forgot to solve the real problems of the society. So we just want to, our ego become higher and higher and publish a lot in the high level of papers, but we forgot to do the basic, that solve problem in the society. So we need to try to do what other countries do, that is really solve problems. I'm from the state of Paraná, and Paraná are doing the opposite. They searching in the society some problems and ask for the university how we can help to solve these problems. And they put a lot of funding. So this is good, because I can get more funding, for example, than their CNPq, by solving some problems in the society. So this is thing that is very good. And the last one is about the girls. The girls. Usually I don't know in the other countries, but the man, the boy, could be what he wants, but the girl no. And we need to change this thing. So, for example, in State University of Maringá, my center of Exact Science Center, we built a program called Cienciando. Cienciando is like doing science to the young people, 6, 7, 4 years, 10 years. So we bring to the poor communities in the borders of the cities a beautiful way to see to our chemistry, physics, math, statistics, a ludic way, like bring some kind of toys and other things. So when we told to girls, you can be what you want, not just what you imagine, you can be what you want. So we bring a lot of things that we try to, how can I say, rebuild this thinking about what you can be. So it's a small one, and we want to grow this thing and probably try to the IBS, so we can spread all the countries and all the regions of Brazil. I think that is the major thing that I can share with you.
So first, I will start by the woman in engineering. Okay, so our society has already started to work on women in automation. So we have these actions where we promote seminars and roundtables for women to discuss the opportunities and also fund their participation in the conferences. So currently in our last conference we have more than 40 women that got the funding to go to the conference, and also in our university, in Federal University of Santa Catarina, we have small actions to promote the participation of women in engineering, because our course is very poor in the participation of women. So we are giving baby steps in this direction, but we already started. And actually, for me, for example, I am my family. I am the only son, so I have 2 sisters. And when I was young, for me it was it was crazy to think that women cannot do whatever they want. So when I get older and start to get in touch with other people, that I saw this kind of situation. And regarding the areas, the communication between areas, I first saw this problem when I was starting my PhD, because I am a control and automation engineer, and I was doing my PhD thesis on control theory for partial differential equations, which is an area mostly dominated by mathematicians. And I had this huge problem to understand the language. So what I did when I started my PhD, I started my bachelor in mathematics to understand the language and to try to advance between the areas. So, and now I also work with several mathematicians around the world on partial differential equations, and in my opinion, this is the future in science, to communicate between physics, engineering, and mathematics. We have a very huge scientist in control and automation engineering that worked during the Second World War, and he said that the gold age of engineer was when the engineers, mathematicians, and physicists were working together. So I believe this is true, and in my opinion, this is also the way to go.
Thank you very much. Okay, I will start also with the growth. We are very worried about that. I think this is a very big issue in mathematics, and I think in all science, if we see in academic. And the Brazilian Web Society, we have a joint committee with the Applied and Computational and Mathematical Society, that's the Gender and Diversity Committee, that we have several activities for the women in mathematics, for stimulating that. We include having a celebration of women in mathematics that's in May 12th, that is in honor of the first woman to win the Fields Medal. And also we have another committee to discuss not only issues about gender, but also about minority, so ethnical and racial committee in mathematics. And also we have some actions in that directions. We would like to have all the minorities with us. And also we created this 2 years already a mentoring programs for women, and these women in PhD. So this is a very important program. We started with the Physical Brazilian Society and the Mathematical Brazilian Society, and it was initiative, I started with Marcia Barbosa, this initiative, and then it was a huge success, the first edition, and then the chemistry would like to enter then, and now it's the three societies together. And it's a really important program because we can see many PhD students that are female that they say that because of this program they didn't give up from their studies. And the idea is that the PhD student has a mentor, and every week they meet each other but talk about many difficult challenges in the academic life. And also there are some lectures of women that are well established in their career. So these are some programs that we have. Also about Olympics, we also try to stimulate it from the beginning. And one of the things is this Olympics for Girls that happens here in Brazil. And the one thing that's important to mention is that the idea of these Olympics is that these Olympics should finish in some moment. We would like that this is only one step in order to have more women and that we can have more representatives in our International Mathematical Olympics. There are many years that our team in Brazil is only formed by men. it's really complicated. So we try to do this with these Olympics in mathematics for girls, training the girls in order to be able to increase this number in the future. But we really would like that we can finish these Olympics for girls in the future, because we will not need this anymore. We really hope that we can ensure this in the future. Also, concerning communication, I think that's really, really important. And we are with several projects also. I'd like to advertise that we will have here at Unicamp the first conference of popularization and communication of mathematics. And the chair of this is Regis Varão. And it's an initiative from the Brazilian Math Society. And the idea is just this way, like to discuss about communicating mathematics and also to try to popularize mathematics. Also, we are in discussion now about to create a prize for communication mathematics. The idea started by Ildeu Moreira. He talked with me and told me that other societies has this type of prize and asked us to do something with that in Brazil, in the mathematics, sorry. And then we are trying to see if we can finish everything in order to do the divulgation, let's say, in this conference that will happen in Unicamp. Other thing that we are doing is together with the Mexican Mathematical Society. The Mexican Mathematical Society started with a very, very nice initiative. They have a virtual museum of mathematics. That's a great initiative. It's very nice, very interactive, but it's only in Spanish. So we are working together in order to translate that to Portuguese and also to expand this museum. So we started some discussion. We had many discussions in the Brazil-Mexico conference. And another thing that I would like to mention concerning that is that we applied for a doctorate program for teachers and also for public in general. And one of the lines of investigation is exactly popularization and communication of mathematics. We would like to create museums in Brazil. We would like that the journalists can understand better mathematics, to do interviews, to communicate for the society about math. And concerning this interdisciplinary, I think that's really important, but as Andrea mentioned, I think we as scientists, we need to understand the importance and to want to go out from our comfort zone, let's say, because I know that, as she mentioned, we need a lot of effort. And usually, since we have our specialty, so we do not need to do a lot of efforts in order to do papers, let's say. Okay, we do efforts, but not the biggest effort, because we more or less know about that field and it's easier. So it's really important that we have this conscience. And I think a conference like that is really, really important. So I think this conference, we are watching many lecturers that are outside of our field, and maybe we can see some window, some possibility in order to connect with our fields. So I think it's really, really important. Yeah, thank you for the provocation.
And I just emphasize the example of Andrea because it's a real example, yeah? You see, 2 years necessary to tune the language between mathematics and engineering. Between
cell biology.
Biology, yeah.
Engineering, physics.
Okay, 2 years. In general, if we ask this question, do you have, for our colleague, do you have 2 years in order to understand the other science? No, I don't have this time. And because of this is a reality. Because of this, one of the possibilities maybe is to change the way that we are teaching our students. Because when students start a PhD, for example, I think that we can believe that their minds are open. But the way that we are educating that students is the way that results in this. So one possibility is to change the way that we are teaching our students. Yeah.
Okay, let us collect another round of interventions.
Hi, my name is Rolando Guitas. I'm a researcher in Panama, in Central America. I wanted to thank you all for this wonderful panel and this conversation that you're starting. I wanted to give you one of my experiences with the topic of communication and how to solve problems, and then ask a question about the women perspective. But I think it's such an important problem that we need to address as scientists. This broken communication that is happening to the point where I think, we were just talking about it yesterday with some of the colleagues from TYAN, that we may be at a time when the scientist image is at its lowest point, right? And we have supposedly global leaders, leading the effort to attack science. And I think in part it's because we've had this, broken communication among us, but then also a broken or a disconnection with society and with the productive sectors of the country that are, in a way, solving these problems. So last year I changed hats and I left my lab to go into the first community college in Panama. And I don't suggest that everybody has to get so much out of comfort, in their path of trying to find ways to connect with purpose. But one of the things that I've seen in this last year and a half that I've been there that I have never seen before in any of the academic institutions that have been involved is how closely related they are with the productive sector, inviting them to every step of the designing of the curricular plans, to evaluating the professors, to evaluating the students. And just this year we got a 65% budget cut from the government. Everybody's getting budget cuts, but we got the biggest one. And it's been the private sector, for the first time ever in our country, that is fighting the government for our budget. So I think that that's just like an experience of how important it is that we build these relationships with society from the sciences. And then the question I have for women is that in Panama a couple of years ago, there was a very beautiful study that came out. Beautiful. It was wonderful in that we, we're all able to see very clearly the problem that we have with, science and women in science. But what we showed in Panama, what this study showed in Panama, was that there were already some careers where women actually were at the same level joining these careers, or even higher than men. So I think that, at least in Panama, women can imagine and can see themselves doing these things. It's not so much that they cannot think of doing these things, but the problem that they were able to identify is that already professional women are not having the same opportunities at the leadership tables, right, at the leadership positions. And I don't know how the situation is here in Brazil or in other countries represented in this event, but I would like to hear maybe from some of these leader women if that's the problem that we need to fix, because if men are still making decisions, then we're not going to solve the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who would like to talk about the Caesar effect, please? A lady.
Hi, so I'm Francesca Carol from Argentina. This is my first time in a congress like this, multidisciplinary. I was like afraid. I'm an oncologist, I'm a biotechnologist. I work in oncology, so I love molecular biology and biology, okay? So I was really afraid to participate with mathematicians, physics, people from physics, chemistry, but now I'm so glad to be here. So I think these kind of meetings are really important to help us to communicate each other. And also I want to, I have this experience, fortunately I got this Rising Talents award from L'Oréal UNESCO that promote women in science. And at that moment, I was, my son has 6 months, so it was really difficult for me to participate in all these activities. So based on that experience, I started a project called Last Mile, Última Milla, that tried to promote leadership in women with the focus on give care responsibilities, sons or maybe family that in general we are the ones that that solve these things. So we need to spend time. and to talk with the society and to each other. First, recognize the problem. So in this case, it takes a lot of time, of my time that I generally don't have, but I think is worth it. So then maybe tomorrow I can share some of these projects that try to support and promote women in technology, STEM, science. So now we have to be involved, I think, and make this effort. So, no.
I have to make a very fast remark. You see, you are a scientist, and
Yeah.
what kind of emotion you mentioned? I'm afraid.
I was, yes.
You see, for a scientist,
Yes.
how big is this problem? How big is this problem?
Okay.
And thank you for your.
Okay.
She already has the microphone.
Hi, I'm Gabriela Araujo. I am the president of the Math Society in Mexico, and obviously we have a problem, and we have to solve the problem. We have been many initiatives in all the societies to try to solve this problem. Obviously, also in TWAS, in TYAN, in UNESCO, we are working on that. For example, I will go with some of you to Rio, and after I will go to Medellin, to Colombia, to a special homage to the people, a couple from USA, that gives to Mexican Mathematical Society money for 20 years old for support girls. And, well, not only girls, not really girls, people who is finishing the PhD and the start of the careers. And we will have an homage, and they will stop to this support in the next 10 years. Yeah, well, we have to find the support also with the society in Mexico, and we have a lot of actions in the Commission of Mexico Society. We have a workshop here in the other conference that we have in the Umalca 30 years, and one of the people who gives the workshop was a person in our gender commission in Umalca, and also works with the Mexican society in many things. And we promote the inclusion not only of women, also the other communities, the diversity, the LGBT plus wherever. We are working on that, and we have to do many things. But obviously, it is we need women that works in this also.
Yeah.
And we have to discuss.
We are the one that we have the experience, and the idea of this last night program is to share with younger women what happened and what can you do. What was your experience? That first to say yes, I have this problem. It was really difficult. It's not shame of that to say that it was really hard, and then what was a good solution for us. Maybe it's something that for you works one thing, for another one works another thing. So we are trying to network with women leaders and do these programs to participate and have all these conversations.
Yeah, absolutely necessary.
So thank you all for the testimonies, for the provocations, for the discussions. We are invading the time of the next session, so please stay here for the next talk. And thank you all members of the table, of the audience, and let us change the world.
Vamos, né?
Tá, vou pegar ela pra você. Só que vai ter mais um aqui. Eu achei que tinha acabado. É, mas acho que é pequenininho. Pronto, beleza. Falou.
Eu sério, quando eu tava na é lá no mesmo. A Dani quase fez. Ela fez um curso de verão no INCA e aí abriu o edital do mestrado ao mesmo tempo. Aí ela passou o mestrado aqui, mas ela tá bem. Não era a Dani? Você quase foi comigo.
Eu fui no banheiro também, agora eu fiquei toda nervosa. Aí eu fiquei com toda a calma do
So now we are going to listen for a very important talk from Springer. So this is the last talk for this morning, and this will be delivered by Mariana Bioggione. Mariana Bioggione holds a master's degree in information science and documentation from the University of Sao Paulo and a master's degree in international public policy from the School of Advanced International Study at Johns Hopkins University. She is the author of the book Scientific Journal in Science Communication. Mariana was manager of Cielo and head of the legal library at the Inter-American Development Bank. The most important one is that Mariana in 2010 she was responsible for creating the Latin American and Caribbean Office of Springer Nature in Brazil, where she currently serves as publishing director of medical and life science journals, managing a global and regional portfolio. In addition to her editorial role, she also serves as academic affairs liaison, coordinating activity and discussion focused on open science, open access, sustainable development goals, research integrity, and responsible science assessment with funding agency in institution in Latin America. So, Mariana, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. Sorry for such a long CV. This was not the intention. I promise that I'm not going to take that long with the presentation. As a friend always say, I'm between now and lunch, so it's better to not be too late. So, but I would like to talk about publishing and how can we help all that you guys are doing. And I hope that my talk is going to touch a little on the first presentations that we're talking about science per se, and what we are doing in science, the research and how to promote that, and the discussion that we had now with the table on the society. So I feel like I have a lot of pressure now that Jacqueline and Carlili talked a lot about Springer, and I was also happy to see that a lot of the publications on the table are coming, or we are co-publishing together with the Automation Society as well. So let's see if I can deliver a talk that's going to make everybody, that I will bring, or I will leave you guys with questions when you leave here and can talk about it and try to discuss even more how to promote and how to make science available and how to help with tackling the process, the sustainable development goals, right? So I don't need to talk about SDG here, everyone knows about it, but Springer Nature and the SDG, the UN SDGs, are celebrating 10 years. So Springer Nature started in 2015 with a fusion from Springer and the Nature Company in the same year that the countries adopted the agenda for the 2030. We are far away from the goals that we had established at that point, but we are doing good, if I can say that, right? We have a lot of efforts to get there. So what we are trying to do, or what Springer is trying to do, is to help all the research and everything that is being doing on SDG, and trying to make that available and try to help developing other questions and other research. So since 2015, we have published more than 1 million chapters or articles related into books and everything related into SDG. All those publications have been receiving more than 9.5 million citations, so we are making sure that what you are writing on SDG are being viewed and cited. We also had increased the number of articles on SDG, so we are publishing now more than 118% of what we used to do before on SDG. We have been always talking with researchers, authors to know what do you need, how can we help. And we are developing hubs to make sure that the different areas and the different communities can talk between themselves and between the other areas. So that's the idea when we try to make our content available for you guys. So we wanted to be, well, as we are publishing a lot, Springer wants to be, of course, the publisher of choice, Springer Nature. So we are looking at what we are seeing, and we are seeing that the SDG content is growing much faster than the other content. So research that works around the SDG is growing faster. It's more likely to be open access. We are going to see a few data around, but the idea is to publish it much more on open access because it's available, right? It's to everyone, so it's easily citable, easily researched. It's also receiving more attention by Altmetrics and all the impact analysis that we can do than any other research content that we have been publishing around. So we are actively looking for SDGs content or SDG related content. So we're actively looking for new book series, for new special issues, collections. We are trying to make this information available as much as possible. So when you talk about SDG, well, I thought I was coming I was coming here at IMEC, and I needed to put a few graphs and a few data and a few info just to make sure that I was in the right place. So we can see that when you talk about market publications in a whole, we can see that it's growing since 2015 to now. It's completely growing, everything that is related to SDG, so it's constant growing. There is no down, there is no difference in that. And we are keeping the pace with the market, right? We're trying to publish as much as we can, so our graph is always also increasing. So we have here all the market and here what the Springer Nature publishes. When we talk about open access, and I'm talking about the global open access, we can see that in general, publications as closed that are not available to everyone, it's also growing, and it's growing, if not more, but it's still higher. We have much more access or much more publications in closed environments than in open access. So it's still a lot of work to do. We are closing the gap, or we're trying to close the gap. If you look at the Springer Nature, we are publishing more and more publications on open access to try to get close to the publications that are published in closed journals or subscription journals, but we still have a lot to do, right, when we look into that. When we talk about citations and automatic citation, we can see that when we look only at Springer Nature, all subject areas, we can see that overall, the citation for a publication is 14 times. If you look at content that is not SDG, it's almost 13. And when I look at content that is SDG, it's 1845. So everything that is content related to SDG gets much more attention, right? For Altmetrics, it's exactly the same. Altmetrics, when you look at all publications, is 19.7. If you look at content that it's not SDG, it's 17, and when you look at SDG, it's 27. So in our databases or in our content, it's still much higher, the difference between what is not SDG and what is SDG related, right? Sorry. We are in Latin America, so I thought let's look a little at Latin America to see what's happening with our publications here and how we're dealing with SDG. So if I look at the publications of SDG in Latin America, we can see that around 2019 we had a huge increase, and we are still increasing. If you look at Latin America in Springer or our publications, we can see that we kept it going, and we are still going. We had a little less publications here, but instead of the market, we are still trying to go and keep the pace of going the publications. Same for Latin American publications. I think that the region is a region that has a lot of a lot of tradition on open access. We have Redonda in Mexico, we have Cielo in Brazil and in other countries of the region that promotes and work with open access. So when you talk about open access in the region, it's much easier because people are used to that. They know what is a publication on open access. It's much more, the discussion flows much easier. So we can see that when you look at Latin America, we also have a gap, but it's still growing, right? The gold publication or the all open access is much more than when I talk about the closed. So when I talk about journals that need subscription, we are in the region publishing much more open access than when we're looking at the word, sorry. If I look at the Springer publications, we're still publishing much more closed publications in journals that are not open, but we are having more and more access, more and more publications on open access, right? That's something that we needed to work, that we're trying to work with transformative agreements and the different steps to make sure that our publications can be published in open access. When I look at the automatic attention for Latin America as a whole, we see that citations is 14.35, 13.43 if it's not SDG. Yet again, we have a huge difference when you're talking about content coming from SDG. When I look about Springer Nature in Latin America, it's exactly the same pattern. So we have an overall automatic attention of 19. Then when it's not SDG is 16, and when I go to SDG is 26. So when I was looking and listening at the presentation of Rafael in the morning, I was thinking that he put a nice autometric donut on one of his papers that was around the 56, I think, that the autometric score, and I was thinking, yeah, here's a good example of someone that is even higher of the average of the publications that we're looking on SDG. So it's a really good example, as he mentioned, of a publication of publications that can be cited, can get attention, and it's also coming from problems that we find in our region, right? So we're talking about very specific topic that doesn't matter if it's from the region or not, but as far as we're working on a quality research, you can get there. How can we support and what we are doing to try to support the work that we are doing with publishing activities, right? So we had signed the SDG Publishers Compact, so the idea is that we can work together with other publishers to promote and to increase the visibility or to try to make those publications more available. Inside of Springer, we try to work with SDG Impact, so we promote the values and the idea of SDG among us, and we are challenged to do projects and trying to make activities that can increase or can better promote SDG. We have been working with policy briefings. We have the hugs that we're going to see a little later, that we have been bringing together the communities. But there are other few things that we are also doing, as increasing the number of journals to try to cover the different subject areas. We are working with storytelling, so we're trying to make sure that this communication that is not easy between the different communities and with the external community that's not academic, we try to make that easier, we try to help this communication. We have been hosting seminars, webinars to discuss what are the problems. So one example that we always use is the sustainable development in Latin America, that we are trying to make that a discussion among policies, researchers, so we bring people from different areas, different subject areas and different places in the society to discuss what we are doing, as well as working with the media, right? So trying to make SDG part of our discussions. So as I mentioned, we are working with new journals, so we are launching new journals. We are working with old journals, the long-standing journals, at the same time that we are trying to identify journals that can be publishing more on research or could be more connected to the different SDG topics, right? So if I look at the Nature, since 2016 we have been publishing and we have been starting new titles on Nature to cover the different hubs and the different goals of SDG. For the SDG journals, or what we're doing is also what we're calling the journal badges. So we are creating badges, or we are trying to get the attention to the journals that we already have. So we have the new journals that are directly connected to the SDG. But what happened with our old journals, or the long-standing journals as we call them, that are publishing SDGs. So one thing that we have been doing is creating different badges for journals that are publishing more than 50% of the articles connected to the SDG. So we are saying, okay, this journal is committed to the SDG, it's working on that, and we are trying to make that even more visible, right? So we can see here a few examples of journals that have the badges saying that they are committed, they are publishing more. We are doing also a lot of books, so we are publishing more and more books related to SDG. A lot of interdisciplinary books. We believe that SDG is the subject area that brings people from all different areas to discuss how to solve those issues. So we have been publishing more than 3,700 books since 2023. We have a huge reference area. We have a book series, and you may have known a few of those series that we are publishing on books related to SDG. We have the hubs. That's something that we have been doing very detailed. So we have one hub for every single goal, and on those hubs you can find information about the area, you can find our publications, you can find blogs, you can find behind the papers, you can find a lot of information. The community can talk among them. So it's a way to bring together the scientific community that have interest in one specific goal, so they can discuss and work together. The policymakers, as I have been mentioned before, we are constantly working on white papers and trying to discuss policies and all those things to make available the information that you have been discussing in conferences, in webinars. And there are a lot of other information and content that you can discover about the publishers using the SDG Compact Fellows when you have together educators and professors and a lot of people working on SDG. One thing that I wanted to talk as we are in the TYAN meeting is that the early career researchers are very important for the SDGs. So you are the future, we are the present, the future, we are working on that. So we'd like to see how can we as a publisher help you work, develop your career and develop the discussions and increase the discussions on SDG. So when we talk about the Springer Nature ECR program, we're talking a lot about communicate our value. So what do you believe that it's important? So when we talk about open access, transformative agreements, research integrity, so how can we showcase these values? How can we showcase these actions? Build a reputation, so we have been talking about what we are doing to increase the awareness of the company as well as the SDG and all those things. Unify our efforts, so trying to look for other institutions and other societies that can be working with us to make sure that we can connect the opportunities and we can bring together opportunities for our ECR. And the stories, the services, and how to make ambassadors that can talk about early careers that can help the career, that can help develop this program and the activities that we are doing. So one force that we are doing a lot and have been a huge success in Springer is working with supporting ECRs in peer review at Nature journals. So we started first trial with Nature Communications that was very nice, because review is something that is quite important. We all know that our papers need to be reviewed and the value that a peer review brings. But we also know that we don't learn how to be a peer reviewer by nowhere, right? We need to have help, we need to have mentoring. So Nature Communications started a project where we would mentoring newer or ECR on the peer review. So we could have webinars, trainings, a lot of things inside, but we were always also trying to match ECR, early career researcher, with a more senior research. So to them together learn how to do the peer review, so one can teach, the other can learn. So try to do both mentoring and training. It was a huge success, and then for Nature Communications, Nature Reviews started to do that as well. That was, again, very nice. And since last year, we decided, since November 2024, that all Springer or all Nature journals now working with ESRs in peer review. So we can look at our journals and see which subject area you'd like to work, and we will have trainings, webinars, and you can be mentors. So there is a possibility to be matched with a senior research to work on peer review. So that's one of the activities that I think that got a lot of attention when we talk, because it's really nice and it's not that used to have around. We also have what we call the Nature Careers and the Career Feature pages in our website. So what we want to do is to develop or create an area where you can have a discussion platform to raise the topics relevant to the ERCs and the academic careers. So when you go to Nature Careers, you are going to find information about jobs and all over the world, so not just one place, but you can see opportunities in universities, institutions, everything that is related to science. And you can also follow the career features when you can have discussions about what a career is doing, what are the different ideas, what needs to be done, what needs to be discussed. So you can have both the discussions behind those careers and the new opportunities that you could be looking at. the latest thing that we did is create a ECR hub. So in the same way that we have the SDG hubs that we bring together the community, we are now bringing together the community or the nature communities, the different nature communities around an ECR hub. So the idea is that the hub can be a space to dialogue with the global research community. And here we discuss and bring together different topics that are important to the research in general. So we bring training for research integrity, we bring together information about research or career. So here it's a possibility that you become a member and discuss with other early career and find people all over the place to discuss your needs or your wishes or challenges, right? That was what I wanted to talk. Hope I didn't take too long. And once again, thanks for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Mariana, for your talk. Now we have time for questions. Who want to be the first? Call it.
Thank you very much. I'm Colette Dandara from University of Cape Town, South Africa. And thank you for the publication that you support. My question is on the open access and the cost, and also the time that the community of scientists take in terms of reviewing publications. When you compare the two, most of the people who are doing the good work of peer reviewing are unable to actually afford the cost of open access. Is there something that is happening in the background to support that? Because now I think people are starting to decline peer reviewing, which now will start to lower the quality of the science that we are going to see. So would you want to comment on that? Thank you.
Let me see if I got all of them. If I miss something, you can ask me. So about peer review, we are always trying to encourage and bring new reviewers to develop to us so we can develop and keep doing and have not overcharge or not overcharge, but overload the same reviewers. So the idea is that we can expand the pool of reviewers so we can get the same quality of reviews, but from different people. So what we do with ECRs, we also do with other communities and other people to try to increase the number and the pool of researchers. Open access, well, the time that take for publication is something that we're constantly working. So we do look around a lot on what we call the turnaround times. So we keep trying to work at least inside of the company in a fast way that we can with our internal procedures without compromising quality. It's very hard to be talking about fast publication without a quality peer review or without allowing the researchers to have enough time to bring back their comments and to make the changes that we need to do in the publishers, right? So we always try to increase without compromise the quality of the reviewer, the reports, and the publication, the content that we are going to publish. About open access, I think that is the most common question and the most conflict questions that we have around when we talk about open science. We talk about open science and we ended always by talking about open access. We are trying very hardly to do what we call the transformative agreements. So our idea on open access is to first work together with what we have. We always say, for instance, in Latin America, that different initiatives don't have in open access as gold open access as we have at Springer, for instance. Springer Nature doesn't invalid anything that is related to other initiatives as Cielo, as Reda League. We always believe that we need to work together to make sure that the publications are going to be available as much as possible. The path that we choose as a company, as a publisher, is to work much more with the transformative agreements, where we try to identify in the countries and the institutions, which countries already have consortia or already have deals with us, and transform those read-only deals into publishing deals. So the idea is that what we already have, we can work on top of it and make that also available to the public, to the researchers in the countries and in the institutions to also publish in open access. It's a lot when you talk about the $5,000 an EPC on Nature, because I know that we're going to talk about that, and we think more than that, and we think about the global south. It's always a huge discussion. So what we also try to do is work, for instance, on the countries that can have huge discounts for that they are in the low tier of the World Bank database or something like that I forgot, sorry. Yeah, but to get not just discounts, but to publish for free. We try to find fundings, so we have different foundations around the world that can support publishing open access, even if you are not a researcher of that foundation. So we try to connect that when you decide to publish open access. I cannot say to you that we got there yet. I think that we are on a phase that for the whole publishing industry that we are changing, we are moving, it's a transition phase. So we are still trying to find what are the best ways. We believe in transformative agreements. We think that's the best way to go. We have been discussing a lot on Latin America and on different countries in Africa, in all global south, how to do that, which kind of discounts we can do. We have been discussing internally if we can also give other discounts besides the ones that we're doing now. It will take a while, to be really honest. It's not going to come from one day to another, but we are working on that. We are very conscious about how do we do that and what we need to do to increase those publications. So I was mentioning to Rafael that for the people that work like me, that are responsible for a region, we are always in the middle of the discussion inside and outside of Springer, right? So when we are in conferences, your guys are asking me what we are doing to make sure that the publication has a cost that we can pay, that we can publish, and how to do that without charging what we are charging now. And when you go to the internal meetings in the company, that we come back and say, okay, we need to decrease the numbers, we need to make sure that our community can publish, that we can cover all that's been publishing, we are always saying, yeah, but you are the ones that wanted to lower the costs, and it's not that easy because you have all the costs that we're paying for the internal publishers or the editors. There are a lot of things that come with those papers that are not published in the end. So it's a very complex formula, but I can assure you guys that we are working on that, and you have people like me, like João and Asia and other people around that are constantly pushing the company to look at our needs and try to make that more feasible to the community. Probably not the answer that we'd like to hear, right? But it's a long answer for a complex situation.
Thank you. Don't you think that there is a very thin line between the peer review process and also a kind of conflict of interest? Because for the magazine, for the journal, it is more convenient to charge these high prices for open access. But when it comes the announcement that the article or the manuscript has been approved, is it after the decision was made by the committee, the editorial committee? It is always something that perhaps is not that trust for scientists, that they have to pay such a big amount of money, and then to keep this open, accessible to others, if they are not paying any subscription to the journal. Sometimes it's a tricky thing.
Sorry. No, that's fine. There is a lot of discussions around the peer review and how to properly recognize the work of the reviewer that is doing this kind of work, if paying a peer review is valid or not. If you pay peer review, what's going to happen with the costs, what is going to happen with the different institutions that cannot even pay for the open access and manage the fee. We tried to do at some point at the fast track publishing, there was, when we would pay extra, the article would be evaluated faster. We didn't like, we stopped the process. So there is a lot of trying and a lot of discussions around the peer review. What we can say is that, at least for us, we always say that all good publication will be published. So if you're publishing an open access journal, and you don't have the fund, you can always request to Springer. We do have a lot of Springer needs, right? We do have a lot of waivers that the editors can use to don't cover the charges, but even the publishers can do that. We also have a number of waivers as a publisher that we can use to do that. For the subscription journals that are going to be around for a while, and then they are closed, what we do is something that you probably saw already in our papers or in our journals that is called Share It. So every single article on a journal can be shared for free on an official way. So it's not illegal to share. We can download a PDF from the publisher, from our page, and you can put that on the research networkers, we can send to a colleague. So we are finding a way that maybe it's not the best way possible because I cannot go directly to the access to the article, but we can find a way to share this information among other researchers. And that's completely legal. So again, it's not the best situation yet. We are moving, we are going, and we are trying to work and we're trying to make the information accessible as much as we can for the different publishers. And yes, peer review is a very, I don't know if complicated, but high discussable way to do that. But we still didn't, there is still not a way to substitute peer review, right? And how we're going to work with that. There are more and more tools on artificial intelligence that are working with peer review, but the reviewer is still the most important thing that can look into a paper, right? So we can still use the tools to identify plagiarism, to identify paper news, to identify a lot of different things, fake citations, fake references, but the content, the information is what you guys can provide, right? The expertise that we have in all those years of research and teaching and working on the subject areas.
Okay, thank you very much, Marina. Any other questions? No? One more. Yes. Then finish.
Let's see if you're going to be able to answer. Easy question.
Only one question.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have been talking about SDGs, and I was thinking about how diverse could be the topics that can be published under this scenario. Sometimes our papers are rejected because they are not under the topic of a journal. With this background, I was wondering what's the percentage of papers being rejected because of the content or the quality in Latin America or in European countries, and how can we support students? Because sometimes students can do research and do thesis, very interesting topics, but they are really insecure if they should publish because of their experiment is too simple, or maybe because they don't know how to write the papers. So I wanted to know, in your experience, if you saw the data, the information, what's the percentage, and how can we tackle this? Thank you.
This one I know the answer. This is the easiest one. Around 50% of the papers are first rejected or desk rejected, as we say, because they don't have enough novelty for that journal, or they are not in the topic of the journal. And when we always tell to the researchers that they are starting to submit their papers is that, and that happens for young researchers, middle career researchers, and even advanced, mature researchers, is look into the journal, understand the articles that are published in that journal to see if what you have been doing, what you wrote, is a good fit for that journal. So try to understand, try to know the source where you wanted to publish, and if what you are doing is really fit for that place, or if I wanted to, I don't know, publish something in chemic, but in a journal of biology that covers really biology and not at all related with chemical procedures. I'm not a scientist, so probably is a bad example, but trying to find the perfect fit. We do have a lot of, there is a page at the Springer Nature that for researchers, where there are a lot of tutorials on how to write papers, how to select journals, how to do submission letters or cover letters. We do a lot of training around all the regions, so we do a lot of in-person trainings. There is nature classes that help on that, but the experience is what will help, right? So as much as we try, as much as we write, as much as we look at the content of the journals, is the experience that we are going to get and that you can transfer to the students. That is the best way to do. So first things, really understanding your research and the journal that you would like to submit, if that's going to be novel enough or not. What we do a lot, and it's not just us, but all the publishers, we work with what we call transfer desk. So when an editor do the first, the desk reject, the first time that they look at the article and say, this article is not the topic of my journal, it's not the novelty that I would like to publish in my journal, but it is a good article, we do transfer those articles to the journals that the editor-in-chief tells that it's the best place to go. So we cannot make the transfer. We can do the transfer, but the article can just be evaluated by the other journal if the author agrees with the transfer, because it's their article, it's not our article. But we have the work to show to the researcher, okay, that's not the best place, but it's still a really good paper, and we are offering the possibility to publish in those journals. It will still need to go under review, so it's not that for sure you're going to publish there, but those journals are a better fit for what we are proposing. So that's something that we do behind the scenes to try to find a way or a home for the articles that we don't accept in the first rejection.
Okay, if more question, then you can still contact Mariana during lunch. So let us give a big applause to